establishes the value of cash of 329,000, which was reported as the closing cash balance for 2019, is inaccurate. And as such, the financial statements are really misrepresented. So we would continue now to the issues of the management letter. And for the management letter, I will refer the House to the executive summary, which should be on page 7 of the management letter. So for the purpose of guidance, the honorable members can derive questions from the management letter, but let's observe it properly. There are some issues which are absolutely taken care of. So as such, page number 7 is completed. We've already done that as per the initial interaction. So we can go to page 8. The management letter is combined. So go to the last section. The last section, you would see management letter for 2019 and 2020. It's a combined one, just after 2020. Honorable, let me help you. Let me just have your book. (2020) stop in page 32. Okay, you are there. So it should be this page. Yes, you are there. Okay. 2020 stop in page 32. After page 32, you'll have management letter. And you'll have page 1 going. So we start from page 8. Page 8. Yes. Are we together? Mm-hmm. Page 8. Honorable, are we there? Yes. Okay. We can start with the first item, 2.4, bullet number 1. If we have any questions to it, honorable members, we can come forward with it. Yes.
Yeah.
Honorable Jame, right?
Thank you very much, Chair.
Let's go.
According to this report, we noted overpayment of 675,000 was paid to UXL for the year 2019. This was as a result of difference between the contract amount and actual payment. So I want the CEO to shed light to this, please.
For the purpose of guidance, I would refer the House to page 28 of the management letter so that we can do both concurrently. In page 28 as well, there is a management response to the effect. So you can do both together. Who is providing the response to his question?
No. No, mom, chance.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if you could kindly allow the former Director of Finance to delay on this, then after I can make whatever, if you don't mind.
That's to you. So okay. The honorable member will continue with the interface. Is that okay?
Maybe he did not get us very well. The UXL contract of 675,000 which was between the council and UXL. Can you explain something about that contract in 2019?
Yes. This was a contract between Banjul City Council and UXL. Yes, I've seen 28. The total amount for the contract was 1,882,500. There were two sets of contract because the initial contract, indicated a lower amount, and then it was adjusted because the contract was, it was reviewed, and then there was an adjustment made on the contract to cover the, EU project that was actually, on the way at the time. So that's why, the amount has been augmented from 882,000 to 1,882,000, which we finalized on, and then it was subsequently paid. So during the audit exercise, it was not provided for, but after it was provided for as to the actual contract document, which showed the exact amount that we have paid.
Honorable, does that sufficiently answer your question? Okay, on page 28, the auditors further made comments. They said, we reviewed the contract agreement submitted after the draft management letter and noted that the actual payment should be 1,882,500 instead of 882,500 as reported above. However, the contract submitted during the audit fieldwork set the contract amount at 882,500. I think you explained the events leading to that.
Yes.
But the augmentation of the contract value, do we have documentations towards that?
Yes, we have.
Were those documents equally forwarded to the auditors?
Yes, they were provided.
Director of Audit, can you clarify for us?
Yeah, if you look at the finding, it's like the auditors are not adjourned, meaning the fieldwork, the one submitted to them was 882, but I think after the draft, they provided another. So it's like they are just agreeing to the documentation for the readers to know exactly what happened. So it's normal, it's okay, yeah.
Which means that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, do we still have other points to raise with regards to the procurement issues as highlighted in the management letter before we move to the expenditure line? Let's refer to bullet point number 5 under page 8. Procurement. It says the council purchased bins at 13,039,850 without tender procedure, and is referring us to 3.4.6. 3.4.6 should be on page on page 34. Honorable Jamil, Honorable Cham, can we pick it up from there? We have the findings and the auditor's comments. Or do I take the lead? Okay. The findings are here. It says the council made procurement of 13,089,850 for the purchase of 3,000 trash bins without adhering to the GPPA Act. A single invoice was provided as evidence of supportive document. And we did have the management respond. I will read that also. Observation noted. Keba and Son observations are clear and valid, but BCC lack the competent staff to do the proper procurement and advice at that material point in time. The BCC have taken great strides to set up a special procurement unit under the leadership of a senior procurement officer. In April 2021, the Local Government Service Commission recruited for BCC a senior procurement officer in the name of ABC. We went an extra mile to recruit another procurement assistant in October 2021 and should be confirmed sometime in 2022. He is XYZ. 3 staff now handles the SPU of BCC. The procurement was handled by people who do not have procurement knowledge, but the council has established specialized procurement units to avoid the occurrence of such issues. We concord with your audit observation on procurement and tendering, and you will equally agree with us that an institution needs competent personnel and staff to do a proper procurement. We are of the belief that these issues will be a thing of the past as the SPU is now performing and getting the job done for council. The actions to be taken have been highlighted. We've engaged the Local Government Service Commission for the recruitment of competent staff to man a procurement unit. There are now 3 staff headed by a senior procurement officer in that unit. The officer responsible, the CEO and team, date when the situation will be regularized. The issue of procurement and its attendant problems are now fixed at BCC. Auditors further comment, the City Council provided the tender document, which we reviewed and noted that restricted tendering was used for the procurement process. So the question is, the auditors are saying a single invoice was received because the restricted tendering process was what was being used. So before posing the question, I would refer to GPPA to give us the guidelines. If a tender of 13 million needs to be done, is it in compliance to make it a restricted tender? And what is a restricted tender? So that we can move. You have to come and use the mic, please. Yes.
Now, procurements are determined by monetary thresholds. Given the amount involved, and that is 13 million plus, it can either be an open tender or restricted. But in this case, they requested for a restricted tender and was submitted for prior approval to GPPA with conditions or justifications as to why restricted tender can be used. And approval was given for them to use restricted tender. The tender was floated and the bids were received. I cannot remember, but of course it went through all the processes, and then the second stage, which is a request for approval of the evaluation report and recommendation for award, was also submitted and was approved by the authority.
Thank you. Your deliberation, the only benchmark I want to draw is the auditors are saying a single invoice was presented. But what you said is different, that bids were what? Invited. And if bids were invited, which means it should go above 1. Can you confirm that?
It was a restricted tender. And restricted tender here means it's not open. You restrict your invitation to only the suppliers or contractors that may be known to you.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Now, when that is done, it's not an RFQ, for example, where suppliers will be required to provide quotations and the like. This is a tender.
So
now here, when the invitation is restricted to a few suppliers. All what we want to see is evidence of an invitation. You can invite people and they will not respond. So in this case, invitation was extended to at least 3. I cannot remember the number, and according to them, because our decision is also based on the information that was provided. So they justified that invitation was extended and only 1 responded. Obviously, when you invite, you cannot force people to respond. So an invitation was extended and only 1 responded and evaluated. And according to their report, Section 12 of the Act give their contract committee the powers to make procurement-related decisions. So this was evaluated and they recommended for award of contract to that single supplier. And of course, approval was given by the authority.
Thank you for the clarity, because the bone of contention was the single invoice that was provided to the auditors. So as the institution responsible for compliance when it comes to procurement, you've really indicated that it shouldn't be a problem based on the method of procurement that was being used. And indeed, if at all people were invited and only 1 person or 1 institution responded, the council doesn't have any right over that. So, which means, in essence, the council performed in conformity with what? The procurement rules. Not so. So, thank you very much for that. The other thing, which is not of grave concern, but is an observation on the management response, have to deal with the special procurement unit and the struggles that council was encountering with the Local Government Service Commission in trying to establish it. And according to the management response, 3 people are hired. But I'll make the question very short. What is the status of the SPU as at now, and when was it formed?
The status of the SPU is still not at its best, because around 2020, we recruited through the Local Government Service Commission a senior procurement officer who came and eventually left, because I understand that they're always after greener pastures, which is normal. So the individual left, and now we're caught up in a similar situation. But luckily, of recently, we've had a meeting with the Local Government Service Commission. So they have shortlisted about 6 people again to come up with the senior procurement officer position, because such an individual would be very instrumental in coming to make sure that he or she supervises the proper creation of an SPU. So we will not sit here and tell you that it's all rosy, no. But in the meantime, we've got at least 3 officials who are manning the SPU now. And the main importance is that the SPU should be doing a lot of things, for example, at the mid to the lower level. Things like documentation, things like the GPPA forms. So it's very vital that, we have them, because if we do not have a proper functioning SPU, like, we still will not reach our, destination, in the sense that it can continuously be an issue. I can tell you that with GPP, I think signing is here, we always used to have push and pull. But the fact that prior to the coming of the new council, all the procurements that were 1 million and above, myself, I used to be involved, the director of planning used to be involved in collaboration with GPPA. We used to go there by foot, because we know that the implications could be high. So we used to go there ourselves. So it's our history. But from 2018 to 2020, when this new council came, I approached the mayor. I told her, look, we normally have problems with this SPU because it's a requirement that we need to fulfill. And previously, in records, meetings, I used to tell the councils that we need a proper SPU. But the head of the SPU would definitely be grade 10 and above. So I, the CEO, do not have the prerogative of hiring somebody without the council. Then council has to be involved because any officer who's grade 10 and above, they have to be involved. Because like 6 and above, 6 below, I can employ. But 7 and above, so over the years, and what I'm saying is in records, I've been saying that we need this until the Lord Mayor and team came. So the second council meeting, I approached them. I told them, look, this is pending and this can have a grave consequence to us if the GPP doesn't see us, because I recall the last letter they wrote some time ago in 2019. Everybody was copied to. They copied it to our ministry, they copied it to the, even to the SG, level of the SG. But thank God, we're not just spectating, during all the time. We have been going to see the ministry, we have been going to see the Local Government Service Commission, so that, everything will be geared towards creating, like a proper SPU. Because it's like an evolution. We never had one that was dissolved or something like that. We had never created it. But when this council came, they brought the idea. We went to the Local Government Service Commission, myself and the mayor, and it led to the recruitment of one Mr. Ibuketa. But eventually, after some time,
Sorry,
you can't keep them.
I interject. I refuse to name names
Okay.
because here is on institutions. You can just say we recruited a staff.
Yes, we did the
Mr.
good one.
Yeah.
But maybe due to temptations from other institutions, he left. So now we've taken the matter back to the Local Government Service Commission. But at least in the meantime, we've got now 3 people who are more vast in procurement matters as compared to before.
Thank you. Okay, internal auditor, you want to comment? Sorry. The same matter, right? The SPO.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, it's good.
Before Mayor's arrival, we were having 3 SPOs. Maybe it's an oversight.
Hold on. The
We
mic
were
is not
having
on.
3 SPOs.
Wait.
Some of them,
Wait. The mic is not on. Okay, go ahead.
some of them, but definitely there were 3 SPOs. I can give names if it is allowed, but we were having 3 SPOs. Maybe it's my fault for that. But there were both frustrated and as just what the external auditors highlighted that all the banks are done.
Okay, it's on now.
It's on now.
Check your mic.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I just want to make clarification. It can be an oversight from my CEO, but we were having SPOs before the arrival of the Lord Mayor of Aji Rohilo. We were having SPOs. We were having 3. one resigned before her arrival, and the other two left. And some of them even were complaining some of the challenges that they didn't have an oversight responsibility of some of these procurement activities, just as what is highlighted in the audit report, that procurements were done from various angles. And some of them can stand that and resigned. Some voluntarily sit at home without coming to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. CEO, yes, I'm coming to you. It's not, you respond to my question, not what he said, because I will relate it to it. What the internal auditor is saying is, before 2018, there were 3 SPOs, which means the SPO was there. That after 2018, 2 left because of the inconducive working environment. But if we can make any sense of what he said, is like their oversight responsibilities were not happening. The procurements will be happening without them being involved. Can you shed light on that?
I said it earlier on. I think if I could be heard very well, that there were some people who are occupying. In fact, I think we first have to start with what's an SPU. There's nothing such as SPUs. SPU is a specialized procurement unit. It's a unit, not an individual.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, you've had their people before, during the time that you were saying, but were they qualified people in procurement? That's the issue. And I totally disagree that some left because of they are not in the limelight. No. I think some left because they were not specialized in what they were doing. That might have precipitated them going, because they were just brought in. They were just approved by council and then brought in. He's here. All the 2 former officials who were there were brought in by the council. We're not even brought in through my selection.
Can I interject?
So that's what I'm trying to say here. Not having, but for example, right now, if I make a comparison right now, all the 3 individuals who are in the SPU as of now, at least have basic to minimal experience in procurement. That's the difference I want to make here, but not what we used to transpire before. I'm not talking about, because if I sit and council tells me, employ Mr. So and so and then make him procurement officer, I'll do it, because of they pass things to a resolution.
When you say council, who do you mean?
I mean the council itself.
The general council.
The general council. That's where people were hired from. They would choose that this one should come in as a procurement officer, and the person would have no qualifications in procurement. So for me, I just call it as wasted years until at least 2018, 2019. When the incoming council, I sat with them. I told them, look, if we do not do anything about this SPU, it will fall back on us again. Because GBB is telling us that it's not an excuse. We need to have one. But let's look at it. For example, if we are to compare it to another institution that had an SPU and is trying to make up with the setup.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying here.
Okay, I get it right. Which means they left because they were incompetent.
Okay. They had no positive input in the process.
Okay. And this happened before 2018, huh?
Yes.
Yes. And we are looking at 2019.
Yes.
Very well. So now, do you have adequate staff manning those SPUs?
What I'm saying now is the 3 individuals we have there right now have the basic to the minimum skills necessary to work in an SPU.
You know why I'm buttressing on this point?
Yes.
You've agreed on one thing, that people were there but they do not have the competence.
Yes.
So as a result, they couldn't do. They have discharged their responsibilities.
Yes.
And because of that, other people were doing their roles.
Yes.
Now we want to avoid that. You have the opportunity to correct the wrong that was done yesterday.
Yes.
That's why we are asking. Then the people there now should have the confidence. Because when we say basic, you don't want to come tomorrow again, and we see the opportunity that procurement is sometimes done outside the circle of the people responsible. And still we realize that it is because of capacity. We want competent people to man these positions. The people you have there, do they have the competence?
Okay, I can tell you something. all the three officials there right now have diplomas in procurement.
No. Do they have the
Still-
competence?
Yeah, they have the competence.
They have the competence, and procurement is done through them.
You told them now, right?
That's okay. We can move to the next point. Honorable members.
Yes, I
yes.
just want to establish one thing. The previous ones were endorsed by the General Council. So how about these other three that you're talking about? Who employ them? Is it through council recommendation or what?
Yeah, this time around, their profiles were submitted to the council so that they see that actually they're employing people who have a scope to work here. So that's the difference this time around.
Local Government Service Commission, like you rightly said, you cannot employ above grade 6. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have the mandate. It's the Local Government Service Commission.
For the SPO, that's the senior procurement officer.
Yeah,
So now we're relying.
that's
on-
what I'm saying. I understand you.
Yeah.
That's the Establishment and Appointment Committee
Yeah.
that does the appointment. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Any other point on page 8, honorable members? Because after page 8, you will have to stand down for 30 minutes and come up with a verdict together with. Okay, we'll just stand down for 10-15 minutes to come up with a verdict. Any other issue on page 8? Then I have a last one there, just a last one. That is bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. It says we noted an undeposited fund of 78,230 to the council account in respect of auction sale of motor vehicle Toyota Land Prado GXV8, and it is referring us to paragraph 3.4.7. Paragraph 3.4.7 should be on page 36. Page 36. And if you go to page 36, the auditors are saying findings. We noted undeposited fund of 78,230 to the council, to the city council account in respect of auction sale of motor vehicle Toyota Land Cruiser GXV8 for GMD 231,530. We confirmed that 153,000 was received and deposited. In addition, the buyer paid the undeposited funds to the City Council on 19 August 2020 and 26 April 2021. The implications are there. I will move to the management response on the same page, which said, please find accompanying one of the receipts issued to the buyer of the said disposed vehicle. Also included in this submission is an extract of the payment breakdown as per council daily revenue analysis for your update and necessary action. Then you have the auditor's further comments. The receipts were provided and confirmed with the ledgers. Think this one is in order, so there is no need to pose the question. So at this moment, honorable members, I believe there are other managerial issues, but we've reached a point where we have a comprehensive level as to the trajectory of the reports presented before us. So I would just humbly tell the mayor and the team from BCC to give us 10 minutes whilst we do internal consultations and invite you back into the auditorium to come up with the final verdict. Thank you. Okay. Welcome back. And before coming up with the final verdict of the committee, we just wish to say it was a very lengthy day, but it would not have been possible without the participation of the entire team here in present. And to start with, we will thank the Lord Mayor and the Chief Executive and the entire team that came from Banjul City Council. And just to again reiterate the fact that the main reason behind the oversight role of Parliament is to ensure that one, there is accountability, there's transparency, but more importantly, to improve on the overall operational efficiency of the government machinery. And with the manifestation of what happened here today, we believe that we'll be there and we can definitely do it together. So on that note, thank you. And I will just go ahead and read the final verdict of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee. Decision on the 2019 and 2020 financial statement and activity report of Banjul City Council. We have gone through the audited financial statements of the Banjul City Council BCC for the financial years 2019 and 2020 with the executive of the Banjul City Council. The Finance and Public Accounts Committee, after careful scrutiny of the financial statements, have come to the conclusion that the financial statements for 2019 and 2020 cannot be adopted for the following reasons. 1. The disclaimer of the external auditors that because of the significance of the matters described in the basis for disclaimer of their opinion, paragraph, we have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide a basis for an opinion. Accordingly, we do not express an opinion on the financial statements. 2. Non-adherence to the adopted accounting basis for the Banjul City Council as highlighted during the proceedings that happened today. And 3. The material misstatements in the financial statements which were also highlighted during the parliamentary oversight functions. And 4. The absence of reliable explanatory notes to the financial statements of 2020. It is the decision of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee that the Banjul City Council should redo their financial statement for the years ended 31st December 2019 and 2020 and make a submission on or before April 2023. The Council is hereby reminded that financial statements should reflect the true and fair nature of the financial position of the institution, and any repeated misrepresentation will result to contempt of the committee and by extension the National Assembly. On that note, I wish to thank the Banjul City Council, the CEO and the Lord Mayor and our partners, that is GPPA, and as well as the National Audit Office. We would also observe that the review for GPPA was not done because we don't want to do it twice. And when there are incomplete accounts, we might be forced to take actions which might be unduly informed. Okay, I will just do the inquiry on that and then we would have them. We would have them formally. So when they do a resubmission in April, then there is no need for another procurement compliance. The procurement compliance is in order. So once the financial statements and the management letter are here, you would consider, we will consider both of them concurrently. We also wish to thank our partners from the National Audit Office and then our able subject matter specialists, our honorable members here in present, and then our committee clerk. And to the National Audit Office, the Banjul City Council have provided the GTRs. So I will give you that one. You can do a confirmation before we leave. Okay, so what I would encourage is you would give it to the Director of Finance before we leave here. Work on an acknowledgement sheet because it was requested for in camera. Work on an acknowledgement sheet, you sign it and make sure that they are the ones being confirmed, and then we can have that acknowledgement sheet in house. Honorable members, on that note, if I can have an honorable member to move the motion for the adjournment of the sitting till on.
Okay, I was suggesting
Sorry. Sorry, you are right. I did promise that. Mayor was saying she is in a haste, but that's why I fast tracked. No. Take the mic, Lord Mayor. But you should be the last to come. We'll allow the chief executive. You have to have something to say. She comes from there. We have the Lord Mayor.
Well, I first of all want to thank the chairperson, yourself, and your members, with the specialists that are here with us, and all the delegation from BCC, from the mayor right down to the last individual. I think for me, yes, it was a very interesting learning curve, because this is the first time we've appeared, and we've learned a lot through the interaction. And I think myself, I'm elevated by the fact that this is the second time that at least we have started coming to the National Assembly to be scrutinized and to be asked questions. So I think that's very good. But what I just want to say is that when you talked about capacity, I think I need to push my hand on that button, because yes, there has been a recognition by the ministry that the councils need to upgrade, their staff members. I think it's good that the thinking is reflecting on that right now. Looking at the journey, when we just joined council as very young men, and what we are seeing right now, because if I look at this last council, it really makes me to feel that I have not wasted my time at the council. Because like I said, I entered council very young, 27, and by 28, I was already an acting CEO. So can you imagine, it was a long way. But there are certain things that I had throughout been making sure that I fight against. That is, anything which is to do with graft or aiding or abetting people to do certain things. Because throughout history, there we fought for the council to improve its revenue base. And thank God, in 2019, we had already increased our revenue base. First of its time in council. We increased by, let's say, an average of 40%. We increased our revenue base. We also started the process of capacitization. And I was very, very happy that the council responded very well, especially when it came to the issue of procurements. I had always been telling the mayor, we need a better procurement unit, because these are one of the tenants now they could use against us to measure our efficiency or our productivity. And thank God, the process has also kick-started. Okay, what I just want to say here is that when it comes to the capacity issue, okay, I will say it here, whatever the consequence maybe I'll take, but then we are really, as a council, we are not happy with the way the Local Government Service Commission is going. We'll say it here, if we have to bear the consequence, we will, but because it's having an impact on us. I mean, if you do not have the officials with the right skills, it just makes it very difficult, to run the council. But like I say, I can't complain too much, because I can see the trend is now going towards a positive level. We are having first time council, we are advising council, they're taking up things, they're improving, we're improving on the revenue, we're giving back to the community. I think what really makes me happy as a Banjulian, if I see the number of students that the council have paid for in terms of their education, that has never happened before. Before, it was used to be on a selective basis. I pay for those that I like their face, and the rest I don't care. But that's not what I am seeing right now. Across the board, scholarships are being given, because that's one of the best ways to transform a society. So, and also development projects. We've successfully secured this EU project funding to the tune of 3.1 million euros through the negotiations of our worship. So it's like, to me, definitely what I'm seeing during this past 4 years made me to feel that maybe I should continue, because that was a time in my career I was thinking of quitting. But since 4 years back, I've seen that in reality, the council is trying to go somewhere, because it's very important. If you are being given advice and you are listening, we're not just giving advice for the sake of giving, because we've been there. Can you imagine, like from the age of 26 to early 50s, you would have had a lot of institutional memory. So I just thank everybody, all these stakeholders who have made this exposure possible. Come and sit with knowledgeable people, experienced people, skilled people, trying, to get things, better. Really, it's really heartening. So I just have to say that.
Thank you, CEO, for those remarks. And to meet the issue of the Local Government Service Commission, we will definitely note it at FPAC level, and also at sectoral level. The chairman of the Select Committee on Local Governance also is here, and it will be noted. As I said earlier on, to improve on the system is a collective responsibility, and we wouldn't shy away also from really standing where we should be. Lord Mayor.
Thank you very much to each and every one of you. First and foremost, I want to say that I appreciate being here today. I have learned a lot, to be quite honest. And many things has also come on my table to understand issues that were, I'm not saying hidden from me, but that I was not aware of. And I don't want to sugarcoat anything here. I've taken an oath, and before anything, I want all of us to appreciate the way councils are functioning now. Mr. Chair, when I came to council 2018 with my council, I found $35,000 on council's accounts with a debt of about $13 or $14 million. And council was banking with all banks apart from Standard Chartered Bank and Sahel Bank. I am not an accountant, but I understand why the central bank did not come and say, no, not this way. Because they were doing what we call window banking. You will take debt from everywhere, but indeed you are paying. You are paying. You will, when you have 1 million, you go and give every bank $10. So nobody will say that you are default. You have defaulted. So these were things that were happening in council. I'm just saying this, and this is in front of the CEO and other staffs that were there, for you also to have a picture of council so that you can appreciate the councils of today. Mr. Chair, when I came with my councillors to council, there were no electricity in council. They were operating on generator, costing council about 4,000 or 5,000 every day. My conscience cannot give it to me. I said, no, this way, not my way. We paid Nawet, and we are not owing Nawet a dime. And Nawet has to write a letter and say, Banjul City Council, thank you very much. I have this letter with me. So it means we pay all our debts from the banks. I can remember a manager from EcoBank came to my office and said to me, if you people don't help me as a woman, I will lose my job because my country directors are after me. I said, give me 6 months and you will have your money. With a small income that Banjul City Council is having. Let's remember that we are the capital, but we are the poorest council. I can tell you that. So this is why when I hear people talking about missing millions in Banjul City Council, for me it seems like I don't understand.
No. Don't
Mr. Chair,
go to those ones, yeah.
Again, when we came to council, there was no procurement office in the Banjul City Council, or better say, no SPU. There were no qualified procurement officer at the council when we came to Banjul City Council. Today, we thank God. Security. We found 25 security officers, Mr. Chair. And today we have over how many security officers? Because we are aware that it is important to have security officers at City Council so that they can take care of our people and the markets. Mr. Chair, again, at the Banjul market, Albert Market, there were no toilets functioning. Yes, there were toilets there, but they were not functioning. Today, go to Banjul City, go to the Albert Market and see how many toilets are functioning. Mr. Chair, when we came to the City Council, they were receiving to the max $3,000. That's what I know of. Today, at least, people will go comfortably home, pay their rents, and buy rice. Because we are aware that when you are working, you need to at least have a minimum wages to buy rice and pay your rent. Mr. Chair, again, when we came, the records are there. When we came to the City Council, the council was paying only a school fees of one student. Today we thank God. I'm not saying the whole of Banjul are going to school or to university, but we thank God that not only Banjulians but Gambians are benefited from that. So, Mr. Chair, I'm saying all this for you to understand and appreciate where we were and where we are today and where we want to go from the limited resources we are having. Mr. Chair, I want to tell CEO to tighten his belt because council have two arms. I'm a politician and I've seen it all in the council. Let him tighten his belt and take responsibility where it should be and say no when it is supposed to be a no. You cannot satisfy everybody. Some people thought they were so big for the CEO to discipline them. And one thing that is very, very important is to help us by all means with capacity. We have tried to give capacity building to most of our workers. But again, as I said, discipline is also very key. Some of the documents that the procurement office could not see or the auditors could not see, I can easily say that some of them are suppressed because they think that if they keep it, it will come, the auditors will come and write something that will only be negative to the mayor. Because what they always think in council is everything goes back to the mayor because people are not aware that the CEO has the main responsibility of council. But everybody will say the mayor, the mayor, the mayor. As I said, I always take responsibility. I don't have a problem with that. But we need also to enlighten people to know that the CEO himself has a responsibility. And many people, can you imagine, you cannot come and tell me the auditors were there and could not see a document where it said that this was tendered, was bought, tendered, advertised, and bought. Because some of the documents are always suppressed. Mr. Chair, council is another wall. I can tell you that. Another wall.
Okay.
So on that note, I want to say thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And I appreciate being here. I am on my leave. I am on my holidays. I was in Jara. But I said no. I have to be here.
Thank you.
And I don't regret being here because many things are cleared. And I have also learned a lot. I thank God and I said Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen 3 times for being here. This has really made my day. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, for those brilliant remarks, and we would take into record the improvements that you've highlighted in Banjul City Council from 2018 till date, as well as the challenges that you are faced with regards to the Local Government Service Commission, and then as well as the challenges with regards to governance. On the areas of governance, you would say it's a team you have, and you are the head of the team, and we believe that together you can make it. So having improved on the revenue of BCC, we have the fervent belief that if the highlighted deficiencies on the management letter and the financial statements are taken care of, it will really go a long way in what multiplying the revenue that you are having today. You know, so on that note, I wouldn't keep the committee any further because we've gone beyond the time limit, and we truly appreciate your coming here. So on that note, can I have an honorable member to raise the motion for the adjournment of the meeting till on Monday, the 6th of February, 2023 at 10 a.m. The motion is raised and it is seconded. On that note, the session stands adjourned till Monday, the 6th of February, 2023 at 10 a.m. Thank you very much.